Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored Never Boring. I cancelled my subscription to White Dwarf magazine quite some time ago now. I had originally taken out the subscription during the resurgence of Games Workshop's board games division, and I got quite comfortable receiving monthly magazines packed with content for games I loved like Blackstone Fortress. But over time, the amount of content that was relevant to me became less and less, until it reached the point where White Dwarf would rather apologetically flop on my doormat, and I would just as apologetically drop it on an ever-growing stack of unread issues. But today I made a special trip out to the stores to pick up a brand new copy of White Dwarf issue 494 because I knew it contained a new scenario for a game I really like, Warhammer Quest Cursed City. £7 I paid for this magazine. That's a lot of money for 4 pages of content for a game that's all but discontinued. Was it worth it? Well, let's find out. The scenario is called The Last Days of Haven, and I will read here from the introduction as presented in the magazine. Welcome to The Last Days of Haven, a what-if scenario in which we explore an alternative timeline of sorts where the heroes of Ulfenkarn ultimately fail their task and Radukar's plans for the city come to fruition. In this, the heroes cannot cast Radukar down and find themselves with no escape from the city. Worse still, an angry vampire lord bears down on them with all the wrath and fury of his dead legions. As a seemingly endless horde of monsters closes in on Haven, the heroes prepare to make their final stand. So that's what's going on. It's basically a wave defense game where you are presented with 20 waves of enemies and you just have to defeat them all. Before we go any further, there is going to be one big question on a lot of people's minds. Do I need the Cursed City expansions, or can I play with just the core set? And unfortunately, probably predictably, the answer is yes, you do need the expansions to play. Furthermore, you will need miniatures for some of the enemies that appeared in the expansions, either the official Games Workshop miniatures or good proxies. So here is your, hopefully, comprehensive list of components from the expansions that you will need. From the Night Wars expansion, you will need the Elite class cards, Carmilla de Sang, Kritza the Rat Prince, Lady Annika and 3 Fellbats. You will also need the 2 double-sided map tiles in order to create the map for this scenario. From the Nemesis expansion, you will need the Paragon class cards, 10 Direwolves, 10 Graveguard, the White King and 3 Vargheists. Basically, as far as I can see, the only enemies you won't be using are the Necromancer from Nemesis and Radukar the Beast from Night Wars. And to be clear, for anybody who isn't aware, while Night Wars and Nemesis include the rules for the new enemy types, those expansions do not include any miniatures. You have to buy the miniatures separately. Now, assuming you have all that stuff, how does the scenario play out? First you create the map, which represents Haven, where heroes are making their last stand. And it should be pointed out this is the same map layout used for all of the Haven defense missions in the Night Wars expansion. Every map tile, every door, every portal, exactly the same. Even down to the position the heroes start in, it's been lifted wholesale from the expansion. There is a dedicated event table for this scenario, and that isn't the same as the one from the Haven defense missions. It's similar, but not the same, so there's that I guess. Then you select your heroes. They will all begin at level 1 on their base class, with no extra cards at all. You should also create a discovery deck comprising only treasure cards. The heroes are already having a bit of a crisis, they don't need any more to deal with. The monsters are going to arrive in waves. You set up the first wave comprising 6 rats and 6 bats. The rules tell you to place them on the map as shown, but unless I'm missing something, the map doesn't indicate a starting position for any enemies. So I guess you can just use the placement rules from the Haven Defense mission in Night Wars, or else randomly select the Lich Gates where these 2 enemy groups will appear. As the aim of this scenario is to survive 20 waves of enemies, groups don't reinforce. Instead, as you start to clear a wave new wave will spawn. Each wave has from 1 to 4 enemy groups in it, and is considered defeated as soon as you wipe out 2 of those groups. At that point, heroes can recuperate, and out of action heroes are returned to the board. Your quest token is advanced 1 space on the track, and a new wave of enemies arrives, with each group in the wave arriving at a randomly selected Lich Gate. During these steps, if the quest token was placed on an even numbered space, each hero gains 1 inspiration point, 1 level, 1 empowerment of their choice, or 1 treasure card of their choice. If a level 5 hero chooses to gain another level, they become an elite class, and if they level up again, they become a paragon class. This is the highest level attainable. Note that as there are 20 waves of enemies, the quest token will go around the tracker twice, and there will be 10 opportunities to level up. For the final wave, Radukar the Wolf turns up. If the heroes kill him, then they have won the scenario. If they are all defeated before then, they lose and Radukar rules supreme. So, there it is. This is the first new content for Cursed City since April 2023, when Games Workshop published rules for 4 new heroes in White Dwarf, and it's the first new scenario since the Nemesis expansion came out in December 2022. Has it been worth the wait? Not really, I suppose. I mean, it's not a bad thing to see new content for the game. Some content is better than no content, and I do appreciate Games Workshop doing something new for the game. I mean, they didn't have to do anything, but there's not a whole lot there. It recycles an existing map layout, and it requires content from 2 expensive expansions and a heap of extra miniatures you have to buy separately. I suppose for completionists, and for those people who have the 2 expansions and all the miniatures, or proxies or standees, this is a nice little diversion, and you could slot it into a campaign if you completely fail the main questline as a way to turn things around. But I don't feel it's adding much to the game, and I'm not entirely sure it's worth rushing out to buy White Dwarf just for this. If you only have the core set, I guess you could modify all the waves to remove enemies you don't have and cap levelling at 5 instead of letting heroes reach the Paragon level, but at that point you're effectively designing your own level anyway, so save your money. I would probably have been more enthusiastic about a new level that only required core game components, or even some official rules for additional enemy types and heroes, as I think that sort of content adds a lot more to the game. This could even have been an opportunity to drill into elements of the Cursed City plot that were never explored. For example, before Radukar became a tyrant, he originally saved Ulfan Khan because it was under siege from chaos. The pages of White Dwarf would have been a great place to run a new campaign in an alternative timeline, where chaos was victorious and the heroes are battling demons rather than the undead. But nope. As it is, this is just okay. Good for people who are all in on Cursed City content, but something that may be worth missing for people who only have the core set. Let me know in the comments what you think, because that's it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really like the video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so, and hopefully I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.